Hello, today I'll tell you a story of a mysterious non-functioning extra fuse that appeared for many people on their first playthrough and how it's now used by speedrunners to save almost 10 minutes in a run. But first, let's start from the beginning. In the hospital chapter, after a few minutes you come into this central hub area with left and right wings. There's also another room at the bottom, but it's not important, it's where you get the key to unlock the right wing. Left one requires a fuse to be opened, so in normal playthrough, you go right, fight a few enemies and eventually emerge with it and use it to open the left wing. And after a few more monster encounters you get the left room fuse and can finally open the elevator to go to the end part of the chapter. That's all good and developer intended, but you see multiple people not doing anything particularly special would come to the central hub area, grab the right fuse as they should, but when they come back there would be an extra one lying around that you can't interact with. If it can be made to spawn consistently and interactable somehow, that would mean that we wouldn't have to go left at all. And so the attempts to understand what's causing it began. We had multiple votes from different people, but we still couldn't tell why it had happened to them, as they all just played the game more or less normally and there wasn't one unique special thing that we could attribute to the fuse spawn, until someone noticed that they all went left and took a little peek at what's there before going right. And what happens when you go past this pillar is that the game is gonna load the room with the fuse and the fuse itself. And when you come back right, it's gonna get despawned. Okay, that is probably important somehow. And it is. We still don't fully understand why it happens and why only sometimes, but this step right here is the main one. It's what causing the game to think that we got the fuse for some reason and that it should be spawned on a checkpoint restart. But that alone was not really good enough. Very few people would manage to get it a few times, but for the majority of the runners it just wouldn't appear. It honestly felt random, or maybe it has something to do with memory location. Anyway, soon enough another discovery was made. Fully restarting the game before loading and despawning the room makes the fuse teleport consistent. So now that we know how to reliably make it teleport, what about it being non-interactable? That's easy. If you restart the checkpoint, it becomes usable. And this saves a huge amount of time. But wait a minute, it can save even more. Your intended way to get the right fuse is through this corridor, and then you get here, do a little fight and finally can break this glass window with a hammer or the fuse. It's not breakable with anything else, but I think you know what I'm gonna say. Since we already have a fuse, we can just use it to break the window from the other side and skip the entirety of the right wing, and we don't even have to do the fight. So with all that said, finally we have a reliable step-by-step guide on how to skip pretty much both left and right wings of the hospital. Here it is. Get to the central area and do the TV cutscene. At the end of the cutscene you're gonna get a checkpoint. This is when you want to close the game, open it again and resume your play. Go to the bottom right room and get the key to open the right wing as intended. Get up the stairs and go left past the pillar, then come back to the fuse box and get a checkpoint. Exit to main menu and resume the game. Grab the fuse that appeared and go open the right wing. Then break the glass and retrieve the fuse. Now be careful and pick up the new fuse. It's important. Get with it to the fuse box and restart the checkpoint. As long as you're holding the new fuse, the game will spawn both of them near the fuse box and you won't have to juggle them back. Now you can just put them into the fuse box and proceed to the last section of this chapter. And this is how the mystery of an extra fuse was solved in less than 2 days after the game's release. Hope you liked this little story. Consider subscribing if you did, but for now I say goodbye.